So I got another call from the school today telling me that D was having another panic attack. He had one Friday at school. He didn't go to school Monday because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and he didn't go to school yesterday because we were in Akron all day. So his teacher calls me from her personal phone, and she's like, he's flipping out, and he won't tell me what's wrong. He's crying. He can't vocalize what's wrong. And I think it's math. I think because, Friday he had a panic attack after math, and now he's having a panic attack again. She said that he specifically said that he does not want to ride the bus. So then she starts to panic, like while I'm on the phone with her. Okay, so I think something else is wrong. Honestly, I would have believed that something was happening in math because, much like his mother, my son hates math. I mean, I'm not a math person. I always hated math. I always failed it every year. I would always end up in summer school because of it. Some people are good at it, some people aren't. I mean, there are math people and there are English people, and in my fucking case, I was always good at reading and writing, and I was terrible at math. That's my youngest son. My oldest son is reversed. He's really good at math and struggles with English. She says he doesn't want to ride the bus, but there's not enough time for you to come get him. There's already a line outside. It's 5 minutes before the bus is boarding. You're going to be stuck outside in line for the next 45 minutes. So it would be quicker for him to just get on the bus. So she hands me the phone, and I decided that I was going to try to talk to him to calm him down a little bit, because honestly, I felt like him staying at school was just going to make him panic even worse. So I talked to him, and as soon as she puts him on the phone with me, he starts to calm down. And I told him, I was like, buddy, your only responsibility right now, the day is over. Whatever you're overwhelmed with, it's done. It's over. Your only responsibility is to get on the bus and come home. Well, whatever it is, we'll figure it out when you get home. But if mommy comes to get you, you're going to have to sit in the school for the next 45 minutes, whereas you'll be home on the bus in 30. And he did some breathing with me and calmed down enough that he was like, okay, that's fine. I'll ride the bus. I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to leave. He understood that was the quickest way to get home, was to get on the bus. They wouldn't and couldn't let me skip line to get him, even for what I think is an emergency. The fucking road to pick up the kids at his school is like the size of most people's driveways. So, like, I couldn't force my way around cars, even if I wanted to. And if she would have called me a little bit earlier, I would have been able to go and get him. But it is what it is. It already fucking happened. I'm not even joking you, like 3 minutes later, I get a phone call from the teacher where she had just put him on the bus. And right as he was getting on the bus, he blurted out that he was being picked on. There is a little boy that rides their bus that also is in his class. So a fellow third grader that is calling him names like stupid and whatnot. And it is causing him to not want to ride the bus. It's causing him to have panic attacks. He is overwhelmed by math. But it is him having panic attacks in math class is because math class is the last class of the day. And he knows that he has to ride the bus and be around this kid. And this kid is he's a dick. He's a dick. So she said that she pulled the kid aside as he was getting on the bus. And in her words, laid into him, which is, small town, maybe Appalachian, maybe Midwestern, maybe Appalachian Midwestern she yelled at him. She said he blurted the kid's name out last minute before he got on the bus. Like he thought that it was his last chance to say something before he had to endure a bus ride with him. I told my husband she was probably thinking, of all kids to bully, why'd you have to pick that one? Refer to yesterday's video for context. She was shaking while she was talking to me. She said she was extremely upset. You cannot see that at all. It's the NYX. I know how to talk. I'm really good. I've been doing it for 33 years. That's the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I just used the Wet n Wild black eyeliner. She said, oh, I'm going to talk to the bus driver. I'm going to talk to the aide on the bus. Yes, there's an aide on his bus. The bus he's being picked on. And there's like 12 kids that ride it. She's been butting heads with my family for years because my oldest son was getting picked on until he had a massive growth spurt and swung back on one kid, and they never fucked with him again. You should know that I don't care about that. Sometimes you got to defend yourself if the adults around you fail you. Moving on. So anyway, she's like, oh, the principal's going to handle this. That doesn't move me. I'm going to talk to the bus driver. That doesn't move me. I'm going to talk to the aide. That doesn't move me. I just used my Maybelline Sky High Cosmic Black. So he got off the bus and I sat him down on the couch. I was like, oh, hey, buddy, you know, trying to be casual about it. And I said, so I heard somebody's been picking on you at school. And the look of betrayal he got on his face, like he was upset that his teacher had told me. And I was like, bud, I got to tell you something. I got to remind you of something. My only job since, birthing and keeping you is to nurture and protect you. That's it. And I can't do the protecting part if you don't tell me what's going on. And you're never going to be in trouble. If somebody's hurting you, the person who hurt you will be in trouble, not you. So he then proceeds to tell me the name of the kid on the bus from his class that is picking on him. And it's not even just on the bus, it's at school. And then he drops the bomb on me. I'm using Fit Me pressed powder. I accidentally dumped it in the lid before I showed it to the camera. But anyways, he then looks at me and says, he's not just mean to me, he's mean to my friends. He's mean to everyone. Every person that he comes across, he is mean to them. And weirdly, I breathed a sigh of relief. So I looked at him and I said, buddy, I'm still doing my pressed powder. So I looked at him and I was like, bud, it's not personal. He's just a bully. It's not personal. He's just a bully. I'm using my CoverGirl True Blend. I said, if he is mean to every person that he encounters without bias, if he is just a dick to every person that he comes across, then he's just an asshole. I said, it's not personal. If he is mean, and my oldest son confirmed it. He's like, yeah, he's a dick to me on the bus too, but he didn't use dick, though I wouldn't get mad at him if he did. But my oldest son was like, yeah, he picks on literally everyone. But I was like, it's not personal. Anything that he says to you is not personal. He's saying whatever he has to say to anyone around him to hurt their feelings. That's all that it is. I told him his home life is probably miserable. He probably has a really, really bad home life. And he acts out because of it. And that's facts. That's literally fucking facts. I said his parents are probably the same way, or he runs them over. One or the other. I told him, all through life, at every stage of your life, you are going to encounter people that are not kind. People that are going to be mean and hateful to you, and ruthless and rude and awful and vile, just because they can be. Because hurt people hurt people. When that is such like a cheesy, corny, like thing to say, but it's true. Miserable people love to make people miserable. And that shit starts in childhood. It does. I just used Ioni liner on my lips. He's doing it to everyone. Nothing that he says should be taken personally, because he attacks and is a dickhead to everyone around him. I told him, and I think a lot of people need to hear this too, the world is full of really cruel people who are cruel for no other reason than that they're hurt and they need to hurt people. But the things that they say to you are going to stick with you, and meanwhile, they're not thinking about it at all. He called you stupid and moved on. you're going to keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. He's not thinking about it at all. He's on to being a prick to the next person. Hateful people, bullies, and I'm telling you, bullies come in every age. They don't stop in the schoolyard. They don't stop in the schoolyard. That's what I tell people about the internet. The world is full of terrible people who are just needlessly cruel. They can't help themselves. They're miserable. Misery loves company, yada, yada. But they say and they do these absolutely cruel things, vile things, and they move on with their life. Meanwhile, the person that they were hateful to, they bullied, they abused, whatever, it has to live with it. And they're not thinking about it at all. When somebody leaves like a hateful comment or says something rude to you in public, that was like a flowing river to them. It came out of their mouth and it flowed down the river, and they didn't think twice about it. But meanwhile, you're going to be laying in bed at night awake, and it's going to be living rent free in your head. And we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. I'm getting better about it. Since being like a content creator, I've become better about it. And it's something that it took until my 30s to realize these people don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, so why should you? It's just, and random cruelty, random cruel people are inevitable. You're going to come face to face with them in life, but you don't have to take anything that comes out of their mouth personally, be it face to face or online, because they do this shit all the time. You're just another person that happened to come across them. It's not personal at all. It's not personal at all. They're just saying and doing whatever they have to do to make the lowest blow, to hurt your feelings, and then they're on to the next. It's dangerous and it's scary. People like that are dangerous and they're scary. I'm gonna try to keep reminding my kids of this. I'm gonna try to keep reminding my kids of this. You are going to come across people in life that are unkind, and they're not singling you out. They are that way with everyone. And whatever they say to you, it don't take it personally, because it doesn't matter. You could be the most perfect, beautiful, kind, gentle, fucking magical being on the face of the earth, and you come across one of these people and they will try to say and do whatever they have to do to cut you down, and they won't think twice about it, and they don't care. It just is what it is, and it's one of those things that you have to practice letting roll off your back. But he's 9, and I want to try to do whatever I have to do to like instill that strength in my kids, because nobody taught me that. Nobody taught me that. I never really dealt with bullies like face to face though, because when I was in school, because I was always so much bigger than everyone else, and I'm not gonna lie, I beat a lot of ass in school. I was the girl that beat people's asses for making fun of gay kids and whatnot. So I never really dealt with that face to face, but as a content creator, and that somebody's been creating content online for a couple of years now, yeah, of course I've dealt with idiots. But I need to like enthuse to everyone, not just my kids. It's a great big world full of hurt people and assholes and people who literally don't care. They wake up angry and they go to bed angry. When I was a little girl, I had a terrible home life, and I compensated for my terrible home life by being the funny girl. Some people compensate for their unhappiness, for the toxic environment they're being raised in, or they were raised in, by just being cruel. I hope that that kid is okay. I hope that he is not being neglected or abused in any way that is causing him to lash out, but he needs help. And if I know anything about having that type of environment that kind of festers and grows that type of behavior, a lot of the times the adults involved will not allow you to do things like go to counseling. My mother would never allow me to go to counseling. She would never allow me to go to counseling. She would never allow me to be in an environment where I would say something that she thought would get her in trouble. So that may be the case for this kid. But I hope that he heals, and I hope that he does not create too many people around him that also need to heal because of his cruelty. I'm telling you, I have to instill it in my children that these people are hurt, and that's why they're hurting people. And it's not like an age specific thing. It is something that you're going to deal with all through school and well into adulthood. It happens in every age group. There are just people that are ruthlessly mean. So I think I'm just going to keep the conversation open, and try to talk to them about it as much as possible, because even in knowing this, it doesn't make it easy for a child to deal with. They're not just gonna like confidently bop around and be like, yeah, that person's just a loser. Ideally they will, but it takes self, like, confidence and assurance and stuff like that takes a lot of practice. It takes years and years to learn. But I'm gonna try like fucking hell. I'm very, very anxious right now because I have to run to the pharmacy and pick up medication. And I feel like I'm gonna throw up and start crying. I don't know why, but I have to go. This is the last day that I can pick up my medication. They sent me a text today and said this is the last day we're holding it. And also Dee has some insulin vials that I need to go pick up. I don't know why I'm so anxious, because like this is a place that I go to all the time. I go to the pharmacy all the time. By the way, my lymph nodes are like super fucking swollen, and if that side of my face looks a little lopsided, it's because it is. It's literally lopsided, so leave me alone about it. I'm a little self-conscious right now. I actually got to glancing at my tooth, and there's like a pinprick size cavity on the side of it, perfectly on the side of it. So I think that I might go to the dentist sometime this week and get a filling, because I thought I was going to look in there and it was going to be like black and charred looking. No, it's literally just like the tiniest little pinprick looking cavity. And it's given me hell. So I have decided no more sugar until either forever or until I decide to go to the fucking dentist and get it taken care of, because at this point it's ridiculous. At this point it's ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, we're going to the pharmacy despite the fact that I feel like I'm gonna fucking throw up. And CVS is like my safe space. It's like one of the 4 or 5 stores that I feel comfortable to go in. So I don't know why I don't feel comfortable right now. It's really funny because everybody's always like, trust your gut. Okay, well, my gut always tells me that the worst possible fucking scenario is going to be what happens. I hate waiting in line in drive-thrus at places. Like, I always think something bad's going to happen, but then I also don't want to go inside and like have to be around people, but I have to go. This is the last day I can get my medicine. This is the last day, or it's not the last day. They filled Dee's insulin vials yesterday. He has plenty of insulin at the house, but I need to pick it up because it's fucking, this is executive dysfunction. Not doing something until your fucking back is against the wall, until they're texting you and saying, bitch, come get your fucking medicine or we're putting it back on your on the shelf. So here we are, super happy about that. I was trying to tell myself there's nobody in the, well, there is somebody in the drive-thru. I'm wondering, I was going to say, if there's nobody in the drive-thru, does that mean that it is closed? It'll be all right. I gotta do what I gotta get it over with. Well, I got Dee's medicine, but my agoraphobia has officially bit me in the ass because it's 7 o'clock at night. The pharmacy part of the store is open until 9, and they told me that I had until close to come in and get it, but they already went and put it back. So it just is what it is, and now I gotta come back tomorrow. And by I mean most likely I'm gonna make my husband do it, and by make I mean he'll do it just because it's not that big of a deal to him to like socialize and do things. Please not be anybody behind me. Where's that light coming from? Oh, do you hear that? That has to be my tire. I gotta call my husband. My tire exploded. I love life. I'm currently walking home because my tire exploded. I love being a woman walking 4 blocks late at night by myself with my child's insulin. Oh, and it's raining. It's starting to rain. I love life, guys. I really do. Oh no. I'm trying to think of where I should cross. Right here, perhaps. Oh God. Oh God, I have to walk past my old house where my ex still lives. But my tire has been going flat. And on my way home, this lady she almost T-boned me. And I swerved to miss her. It's raining. It's starting to rain. I thought I was crying. It's just rain. But this lady almost T-boned me, and I swerved to miss her, and it caused my tire to explode. And I'm hoping that it's cold enough outside right now that it's going to keep Dee's insulin cold enough that it can stay cold enough that it doesn't start to deteriorate. I don't know if I locked my car either, which is awesome. I'm too far now to go back and look. I walk really fast, and I tell myself it's because I'm gay. It is starting to rain though. I just walked past my old house where my ex still lives. And you know what? I saw him the other day standing on the front lawn, and it was a very healing experience. It made me feel really good because he looked like shit. Oh, good. Okay, this next street that I have to cross is usually super busy. So let's hope that it's not too busy. Please go. Oh no. I need a crosswalk. Well, I mean a light, a crosswalk light. The street sucks. Come on. Oh no, my belly's falling out. My belly's falling out of my pants. Okay. My hands are freezing, which means that it's probably cold enough that it's keeping Dee's insulin nice and cold so it doesn't break down too fast. But also, where I parked my car, I don't know how we're going to get a tire on it where it's parked. It literally can't be driven. It's just driving on straight rim at this point. And also, I don't know where I'm going to shit out the money for that. So, very cool. Anyways, I'm almost home. So, I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. I'm home, and I was just watching the video of me heavy breathing, running home after my tire exploded. And I was laughing really hard. It sucks. It's shitty, especially because it's so late. So, there's like nowhere that I can go to get a tire. But I made it. It wasn't fun, but I made it, and I'm alive. And well, it's just one of the, I got it parked in a place where it's not like going to get towed or anything like that, but we'll just have to take care of it in the morning. We'll figure it out in the morning. There's not a damn thing I can do about it right now. And I think it was cold enough that nothing happened to Dee's insulin. I'm hoping, because when I got home, my hands were like purple. It was so cold. So everything's okay. It's just going to be not very fun to have to find a ride to get a tire and have to find help to put it on. It is what it is. Shit happens and then you die. But let's talk about how creepy it is that I didn't want to leave and how my brain was like, don't go. Something's going to happen if you go. Don't leave. Don't leave. Stay home. Don't leave. So let me show you what happened. I actually got it on film and I cut it out because nobody needs to see that. But here was this lady and here was me. And I was turning because it was my turn, and she had to have been not paying attention at all because she started turning while I was turning. Now I drive a giant white van. All my lights are on. She missed T-boning me by probably less than a foot. And my tires were squealing because I was having to pull so fast to avoid her hitting me that it caused my tire to explode. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love life.